Thank you, Secretary. Good morning, Your Excellencies. First, we wish to welcome you to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. We wish to express our gratitude to you for your presence at this very important meeting at such short notice. As our guests, it is only appropriate that you, as SADC ambassadors, hear from us directly and not from third parties, so that you can engage your capitals and the rest of the international community from a point of knowledge. Let me begin with the fact that as SADC, we are not only neighbors in one geographic space, but, and I emphasize, that we are one family. SIOM was invited to observe our elections by dint of our common membership of this family called SADC, whose structures and organs recommended the development of a SADC elections observer mission. We were therefore happy to invite SIOM and other observers, and we are honored to have them in our midst. SIOM, including all other observers, were able to freely go around the country and observe for themselves the peaceful conduct of our elections. We are also aware that besides the SIOM, many SADC member states had bilateral observer missions, which we are confident also went around the country to observe our democracy at work. As impartial observers with clear and specific mandates, we believe electoral observation missions should operate within their given mandate, which is to observe and recommend areas that need improvement in future elections. We believe that constructive and progressive comments on the manner in which we organized and conducted our 2023 harmonized elections is healthy and welcome, and falls within the realm of all observation missions that we invited. This is why we freely invited observation missions in the first place. On the political and security environment, Your Excellencies, on the 23rd of August 2023, Zimbabwe held its harmonized elections in a peaceful and calm environment. It goes without saying, Zimbabwe enjoyed peace before the election, during the election, and continues to enjoy peace and tranquility in the post-election period, in line with the clarion call by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. We therefore note the fact that all missions acknowledged that the harmonized elections were conducted throughout the country in a peaceful and tranquil environment. On the results of the harmonized elections, Your Excellencies, it is now common knowledge that the full results of the harmonized elections were announced last night by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. We take this opportunity to congratulate His Excellency the President, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and all the successful parliamentary and local government candidates in the harmonized election. Ultimately, the people of Zimbabwe are the winners in this election. We commend them and continue to encourage them to be peaceful in the post-election period. On the SADC Electoral Observation Missions report, Your Excellencies, on Friday, 25th of August, 2023, many observer missions to the harmonized elections presented their preliminary findings. The government of Zimbabwe welcomes progressive preliminary comments and recommendations contained in some of these reports, which were made in the spirit of strengthening our institutions and enhancing our democracy in future elections. SADC's mission, Your Excellencies, is to foster peace and security as the prerequisite for regional integration and development to achieve a common future. However, we are disturbed by some aspects of the SIOM report which deviate from the spirit, intent and mandate of the SADC Observer Mission as outlined in the SADC guidelines which Zimbabwe has fully domesticated. It is our understanding that SADC respects the sovereignty of member states and that SIOM, as its subsidiary, operates within the confines of the constitutions and laws of member states, which are passed by sovereign parliaments. We don't believe it is in the remit of SIOM to question or interfere in the member states' constitutions, laws, and court decisions passed by their sovereign democratic institutions. We believe SIOM as our institution had all avenues open to interrogate, verify, and validate information before it was published, in line with SADC cherished values and principles of transparency, impartiality, and non-partisanship. Unfortunately, in some areas cited in the report, this did not happen, resulting in the views of a partisan nature being presented in the preliminary report as facts. Your Excellencies, during the 43rd SADC Summit held in Luanda, Angola, Zimbabwe briefed the heads of state and government on its state of preparedness to hold the harmonized elections. Summit took note and praised Zimbabwe on the fact that all outstanding issues that had been raised by SIAC in April 2023 had been fully addressed in accordance with Zimbabwe's constitution and electoral laws. This was Summit's conclusion. These included the delimitation of constituencies, availability of electronic voters' roll, and voting status. Your Excellencies, if you type *265#, every citizen can access their voting status, their voters' roll, their constituency, and their polling station. Summit acknowledged this update and wished Zimbabwe a peaceful election. We therefore find it puzzling that the SIOM considered it appropriate to reopen debate on issues of a purely domestic nature, which had been long concluded by the appropriate authorities in Zimbabwe and in which Summit in Luanda had noted and adopted. On the delimitation process, statements such as, and I quote, delimitation was a flawed and unconstitutionally executed process, that Kasukuwere's disqualification was unconstitutional, are most unhelpful. The Kasukuwere case was concluded by the highest court in Zimbabwe, the Constitutional Court, in a judgment. This also includes unhelpful comments that the so-called patriotic bill was unconstitutional, as it attacks the freedom of speech, it says. Such statements, intentionally or unintentionally, cast aspersions on the integrity of Zimbabwe's sovereign public institution and create doubt in the populace. Zimbabwe fully respects SADC, its leadership, its principles and values. After all, Zimbabwe is a key beneficiary of SADC's assistance and solidarity and will always unwaveringly appreciate this. SADC, our great institution, has always thrived on consultations and mutual respect of its member states' sovereignty as a principle. Zimbabwe has full confidence that the errors cited in the SIOM report will be corrected with the view of ensuring the intended beneficial contribution to strengthening the electoral processes of member states, including Zimbabwe, and we really appreciate that. Long live SADC, long live our common future. I thank you, Your Excellencies.